So we'll get started here. I think outsourcing your investment portfolios. What we'll talk about, I think, is why you'd outsource your portfolio and when you'd outsource your portfolio, and then what to consider, and if you decide to move forward, how would you actually do it? How would you make a selection to pick the right partner? Paul, maybe you could talk about when is the right time to decide to make the outsourcing move.
Well, when would be now. But as far as the reason someone should consider outsourcing, and I guess my first comment is outsourcing, the word sometimes has a negative connotation. We like to use the word delegation, and clearly we're taking responsibility for activities that a committee had historically taken responsibilities for. But we're working with that organization and doing those strategic decisions, the policy and asset allocation decisions. So some of the reasons you might consider outsourcing or delegation is if the committee or the governing body is spending too much time on manager selection and oversight. Many committees, if you look at what they do, they spend over 90% of their time talking about managers and probably only about 10% of their time talking about policy decisions. And in an outsourcing model, you're really able to invert that, where you're going to be spending far more time around policy and you're going to be delegating the manager selection decision to an outsourced or delegated provider. They might be looking for more accountability for investment results and manager decisions, looking for faster, more nimble decisions around managers. There are very good investment consultants out there, but the investment consultant process many times is broke because committees only get together once a quarter. And even though the consultant might have a good idea, it will take time to get those ideas into the portfolio. By delegating or outsourcing, you're getting a firm that can do that immediately on your behalf. You might have an organization concerned about total costs, and they're going to look at those costs vis-a-vis what an outsourced solution can provide. They may not be spending enough time on that strategic decision, which I previously mentioned. They like to have the portfolio tied to the organizational goals. And especially in healthcare, you have multiple portfolios that you're responsible for. Therefore, you might have customized asset allocations by DB, by balance sheet, by foundation, by captive insurance. But you're able to leverage the assets in totality to drive down fees. So you get that customization, but you're able to get the leverage points from a fee standpoint. And another reason you might consider outsourcing is if you lose staff or you go through a merger, acquisition, or an organizational event. Those are always time frames to consider, just like with Vince and Edward. That was an inflection point for them to consider whether they wanted to keep it in the historical model or whether they wanted to go to a more delegated outsourcing model.